I've been working with puppets for 33 years. I'm also a writer. I write scripts. I've written all my films. I've written 2 books. I'd like to think of myself as a performer, I guess, and I perform through puppets. That's what I am. Or a storyteller. Maybe, yeah, that's what I am, a storyteller. Whether deserving is the right word or not. I've been quite lucky in my career to work on children's series, as well as being able to do my own films. And I guess it's the films that have won the awards. I was fortunate enough to be part of Channel 4 when they were developing animation, putting a lot of money into it. And they were very keen to encourage films that are different. And all my life I've tried to be different or tell things from my perspective in my voice, and not particularly follow the norm. And I've certainly done things with animation and puppets that have not been done with puppets. Whether it's bringing this sort of theatrical aspect, all my films are very theatrical, and that's often used as a criticism. And it hurts me that theatre is seen as, oh, your film's very theatrical, as though I'm not being true to animation. I think what we all have in common is an enjoyment of artifice, and I probably show that artifice more than any other people. I say this is fake, these are puppets, and I think that's what I enjoy doing. Film is probably a bit more seamless, a bit more. Film probably flirts with naturalism more than theatre does. If you were to have the same scene on the film of somebody sitting at a kitchen table, you would probably have all the detailed architecture behind and something through the window. On theatre, you might just have the table. You could say it's taken some time to come to fruition, but I think a good idea is worth pursuing. And the reason it's taken time is the industry has changed. Short films are harder to make. I'm English. I've tried to make it in England, and there are really practically no short films being made at the moment. Now, I've tried to make this film in whatever way I could, as an 8-minute film, an 11-minute film, if there was money for 11 minutes being operated. I tried to make it for Channel 4 scheme, dance, and the theme was water, which is big in the film, and they said there wasn't enough water. But I've wanted to make it, and I've been very lucky enough to make it with a French company called Dark Prince, and they managed to get funding from about 6 different sources. And it's currently in post-production at the moment, yeah. Essential, really. So much of animation is homework. What I love about theatre, actually, is so many things I love about theatre, is 7:30, the show starts. And it has to go on. I love that. And I think that's a great discipline of, you have to know the script, you have to know the characters. TV series, you don't get a rehearsal, you don't get a chance to do it again. And I love that. And I think that comes from theatre is, as an actor, you go out on stage, you've got to get it right. And if it goes wrong, you go with it. And that goes back to one of my things about puppets, is puppets are not precision tools. There's you operating a puppet and the puppet's giving something. You work together. I like the spontaneity of theatre where, you know, an audience could cough or something that may throw an actor off his stride and he mistimes it, but then he brings it round, and same things happens with a puppet. Is, you know, you're animating a puppet and you can see the shadows not quite lighting his eyes, so you just move the character forward but he's in a different position, and it's alive. It is alive. But I think what I can do in workshops is get people thinking and show how it works and why it works. And I like to make it very lively, and animators can be quiet and not contribute, but I seem to be able to get people to talk and work together, because stop motion is working together. The idea of an animator alone in a room is just wrong with stop motion. But I do talk about it with enthusiasm and passion, and that does come across, I think. Yeah. And also I've been working in the industry, which maybe not every tutor has been. I may not be up to date with every modern technology, but storytelling I can talk about it. Is the technique appropriate? Do you have the passion for it? Do you have the mentality? Because not everybody does. But the storytelling, the character is most important, and I think what I really stress is performance. How you perform that puppet, and is the puppet good enough to do that performance? But I always have to go back to the very, very beginning and say, why are you working in stop motion? Is that the right technique? Is your story appropriate to the qualities of stop motion? Drawing is very good, and life drawing is fantastic. Acting, the most important skill you can have. How to time a pose, how to read a pose, everything has to read, and I think that's what acting is good at. Dance, I think tango is one of the best forms of dance people could do, because the clarity of the line in a movement, you know exactly what the movement is. It reads, and that's what I keep coming back to. And ballet, because it's so open, and you can see the line going all the way through from a finger to the toe. And because I think what's so great about theatre dance, like ballet, is it's done for the audience, and you can see the shape. If you're looking at the wings, an arabesque wouldn't work, but it reads for the audience, the camera, and that's what we have to do as animators, I think. Well, I think I'll answer that by saying it would be wrong to think of animation in a bubble. It is related to sculpture, it is related to poetry, it is related to dance, anatomy. I do get cross when I go to schools and I say, okay, let's have a dance lesson. And they go, why? Okay, let's clear the chairs away, let's get up and move. No, I'm an animator. Precisely. We're telling stories through movement and music, and look at the other ways movement has told stories. I think that's the thing. How visual storytelling is what we're doing. So any other form of visual storytelling you can look at will help inform animation, I think. Yeah. That is a very good question. Two stories I can tell you. The audition I did for Cosgrove Hall, they literally gave me a puppet and a scene, and it was on a program called Grandma Bricks that was in Rainbow, kids cult program, and I had to walk this lady from one end of the street. It was a bit like Coronation Street. She had to walk from one end of the street to the other, and we watched it and it was okay, but she was walking toe heel rather than heel toe. I thought, why did I not think about what I was doing, how somebody walks, rather than just assuming that's how they walk? But the real answer to your question, I think, is making it read. That was the hardest thing. You need to know what the focus of the scene is and focus of the movement.
Yeah.
And again, it's letting it read. You know, so the audience say, oh, I know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's giving it time, you know, finish one gesture before you go into the next one. And again, that is where studying music is really good.
Yeah.
I really...
because of the phrasing? And
the phrasing, and also you were talking about frantic gestures. If you're doing a frantic gesture, do something slow with the other hand. Because if you listen, you know, that's like music. If you listen to something like Pachelbel Canon, has a really fussy overtune, but it wouldn't work if you didn't have the slow left hand doing, you know. So you need to ground busy gestures with a grounding. And it's not about copying live action, because live action timing is so different. We had to really stretch the movement and emphasize the storytelling parts of any gesture to make it read. Make it read, make it read, make it read.